This is Mountain Vision. Welcome to the Wildcats Football Coaches Show, your home for all things Flint River football, with Wildcats head coach Josh Dare and your host David Carden.
Let's go!
Welcome to the Flint River Academy Coaches Show with head coach Josh Dare. I'm your host David Carden. The Wildcats had a bye week, worked on getting ready for Piedmont Academy. Coach, how'd that go for y'all?
Oh, we had a great week last week. They run a 5-2, so we were able to show them their defense and show them what pretty much what each guy in that defense is, their role is. And our guys picked up on it, and I think just having that week last week just to show them an overall view of what they're going to do really is going to help us down the road. They're a good team. They're a great team, so it's not going to be the end-all, make-all, but it's definitely something that I hope that we benefit from last game of the season.
So y'all didn't do anything specific, didn't put a game plan in or anything, just kind of gave them an idea of what they were going to see?
Yeah, we showed them what we really liked against their defense, and we showed them what defense we really like against their offense, and that's what we really worked on, and we did it for three days pretty hard, and then had Friday off. So it was a really good week. We needed it. We were able to be physical. We had some really good practices, some really good scrimmages against each other, and we escaped without anybody else getting banged up. So that's always good. We had a couple little bumps and bruises here and there, but by the end of the week, everybody was ready to roll. So that was really. Anytime you have a bye week, you want to keep the practice intense, have a fun practice, but you also want to get through it healthy, and we were able to do that. So.
Speaking of being healthy, I know William Quinlan's been banged up. James Murphy's been banged up. How are they looking coming into this weekend?
They've got just some nagging injuries right now. Quinlan with his little muscle strain in his ribs. It's just one of those things that we just got to keep, being cautious about and not letting him overdo it too early, and make sure that he's ready to go Friday night. He's going to try to go this week and try to play Friday night. James is just he's got a hurt toe and it might be broke. We don't know. It's one of those things where he can run on it and everything's fine, but once he gets stepped on or gets hit, it's some really bad pain. So we're just going to keep taking it easy with him, and hopefully by playoff time, both of them are 100% ready to roll.
When y'all working on Piedmont, did y'all see anything on film or out there on the practice field that you think you might can exploit?
There's a couple positions defensively that we feel that they're not as strong as they were last year. Last year we had a tough time moving the ball. They were really good last year. But there are a couple spots out there that they're still good at, but we see that they're weaker than some of their other spots, and that's definitely where we're going to try to attack them. They're a solid team. They're probably the best coached team in the league when it comes to defense. They're sound. They do everything right. And their coaching staff's a great coaching staff. They got a great head coach, and they do a lot of really good things. So we're gonna hopefully that seeing some things on film and talking to some coaches that we see a couple weaknesses. They don't have a lot, but they have a couple, and they're not even weaknesses. It's just where they're weaker, and we're gonna attack them. So.
Do you say they're stronger on the defensive side of the ball than they are on the offensive side of the ball?
No, I think they're equally great on both. They offensively they put up points. I mean, they're scoring a lot of points every week. They were in a dogfight with John Millage. It was 20-21 after the third quarter against them, and then they played Windsor a couple weeks ago and scored 45, 48 somewhere in there against them. Scored 50 against Briarwood. So I mean, they're a solid team. They're probably number one or number two in the state right now, so I would guess. So.
Okay. Well, that game's not for another 3 weeks now. That's the last game of the season, as you put it, the region championship game.
That's right. Yeah.
But this week you got Southwest Georgia Academy coming up.
Yep.
Coming up to Woodbury to play them. You excited about that?
Oh yeah. It's real exciting, and one reason that we went ahead and showed them Piedmont last week was because Piedmont runs a 5-2. So now preparing this week for Southwest Georgia, they run a 3-4. Very similar. The Piedmont ends will walk down on the line of scrimmage, where the outside linebackers for Southwest Georgia are more like linebackers instead of defensive ends. But the blocking scheme's still pretty much the same because it's still the 5-man front with the 2 linebackers. Both linebackers head up the guard. So we were showing them Piedmont just to prepare for them, but we were also giving them a little bit of a preview of what they're going to go against this week. So, it wasn't 100% about Piedmont last week because we knew that Southwest Georgia was in the 3-4. So it was kind of killing two birds with one stone. So.
Well, that's good, yeah. Like you said, kill them two birds with one stone, get them a little extra prepared for both of them.
Right.
Piedmont, you said they played 5-2. Any kind of playmakers they got on defense over there that you're worried about?
Yeah. I mean, Piedmont's got two really good defensive ends. They were playing Briarwood and ran a little swing pass to the running back, and defensive end intercepts it and goes pick six. So they got some. Their secondary is so athletic. It's going to be. They get up in your face and they press you and they man you and they say if you can run by us, try it. So it's tough. They got a lot of playmakers over there. So they're nose guard and two defensive tackles are hosses. Linebackers are. I think they're better this year than they were last year at linebacker. And they got playmakers all over the defensive side and offensive side. So.
What about Southwest Georgia? Anybody worried about on there?
Yeah. Southwest Georgia, man, they are huge up front. They got two defensive tackles. One of them's probably anywhere 6'3", 6'4", around 260, 270. I mean, he's a big old guy. Their nose guard's a big guy. I mean, they are some big country boys that are solid. And it's going to be hard running in between tackles this week. They got two big linebackers. Their secondary's athletic. I feel like we can probably throw it on them a little bit. I think that they play man, and watching them on film, it's not a sound man. They don't do a great job of always backpedaling or always rotating like they're supposed to, and that's what we've seen some of the other teams have success with is hitting them with the long ball. Kind of lull them to sleep with runs, and then it seems like they get pretty lazy pretty quick, and then they go over the top. So, but then again, the teams that are doing that are AAA teams. They're teams with athletes all over the field, and a big offensive lineman that can hold their defensive guys still. So on film it looks good, and it works for some of the bigger schools, and it's something that I think we might try to do a little to them.
Well, y'all got some speedy guys that y'all put out there at receiver, so
right.
Y'all got a chance to do that and get over the top.
That's right, and that's what we're going to hope to do, and we're going to have to early, just to kind of back them up a little bit, make sure they're not blitzing too much too early. And if you hit a big one, it's great. But even if you don't hit that big one, it just keeps them backed up a little bit. And
gets it in their head that y'all going to try that.
That's right, exactly.
So are y'all going to try to establish that run first, or y'all going to go to the air first?
Well, we've actually looked at a couple different things. We're definitely going to try to run the ball. You got to try to run the ball at this level. I don't think you can throw it 50 times a game and be successful. So much goes into the passing game. But yeah, we're gonna come out and try to run it on them. They have the bigger guys, but I think that we're quicker. So we're gonna try to get the edge early, and that's something that we've been getting better at. Against Dawson Street, we got the edge a couple times. Yeah. Didn't run jet much against Gatewood the week before, but when we did run it, we had some success with it. That was the week that Parker was hurt, so we didn't really have the jet guy. And now that Chase Lewis is running the ball better, now we've got multiple guys to run jet. And that's something that's going to be a big portion of our offense going down the stretch, because we're starting to block that edge and we're starting to get the edge. And if we can get these guys out in space, we saw 2 weeks ago what they can do.
Right. Yeah. If they got, like you said, if they got space, they can really get at it, get downfield.
That's what we're going to try to do.
So. Since you got multiple guys that can run the jet now, y'all looked into a reverse or anything crazy like that?
Oh yeah. We've had the reverse in. We just haven't had to use it yet. And but yeah, the reverse is a great play out of jet, and that's something that we'll have in our back pocket and run if we need to. We actually, the only time we ran it last year was against Southwest Georgia, so I'm sure they're preparing for it. Yeah, it was a 4th and long, and we were 4th and 13, I think, and we got 10. So we were close to picking it up, but it's definitely something they'll probably be ready for. So, and I think every team prepares for a reverse, because every team's got a reverse.
Yeah. I lost where I was going. Sorry.
That's all right.
That's the first time that's happened. This is going to be a tough one.
All
right. Y'all in Southwest Georgia have had one common opponent this year, Bethlehem Temple Christian.
Yeah.
Y'all just beat them, I guess, 2 weeks ago by the time y'all play Southwest Georgia. Y'all were able to shut out Bethlehem Temple.
Yeah.
But Bethlehem Temple was able to put up 22 points on Southwest Georgia.
Yeah.
So that's got to be a confidence booster, right?
Absolutely, it really is. And and we talked about getting the edge. That was something Bethlehem was able to do against them. Is they were able to run quarterback sweep sweep and get the edge and move the ball in the first half pretty well against them. I mean, I wouldn't say they were up and down the field on them, but they definitely moved the ball, and they had one drive. One of their scoring drives was probably 75-yard drive where they were just running sweep and getting out in space, and they had a hard time stopping them. So it was something that we enjoyed seeing on film, and something that really gave us some confidence moving into this week.
So y'all are going to look for the edge, probably because the big men up the middle are going to shut down the in between the tackle game.
Yeah, they're definitely solid up front with their front five. They're hard to move, but we're going to attack them. You know, we're going to let Brett run up the middle, and they keep five in there. So on film, we've seen, you know, when teams spread out, they spread out with them. You know, a lot of teams at this level, they don't spread out with you. You know, when they run a 5-2, they keep 7 in the box, and if you spread out, they just change their secondary a little bit. They don't pull ends out and pull outside linebackers out, but they like to go ahead and pull the outside linebackers out and get those guys a little wider to help out in case of the quick passing game. So by doing that, and they keep 2 high safeties because they don't want to give up the big plays, now it's going to be 5-on-6 inside. So we're going to look to spread them out and try to run right at them. And if that's working, you know, you always have jet, and you know, if we can get both things going, that's going to be pretty tough for them to stop. And it's tough for any team to stop. You know, every week you go into the game hoping we can run inside, we can run outside, you can run everywhere. But you know, when the bullets start flying, it's you know, we're going to have to make adjustments on the fly and be ready for their adjustments. And you know, it's going to be a fun game.
Yeah, that's a good idea, though. Get them spread out. If they're going to move out with you, give that little extra room inside.
That's right.
And even if, you know, if you're not getting the big gains, you have 4 or 5 yards, that's going to make the difference.
Well, and you know, their inside guys are so big that they really are confident in their front 3 of clogging up both A's and both B gaps inside. So they have a lot of confidence in their guys, and they should, because their interior guys are solid. So
just big run stuffers.
Yep, that's exactly right.
We'll be back with more right after this with head coach Josh Dare on the Flint River Academy Coaches Show.
Murray Company Realtors in Griffin offer a wonderful riverfront family home. This 2-story Victorian-style home located off Highway 18 along the Flint River features 3 bedrooms with 2 full and 1 half bath, open living room, and a full finished basement. Situated on more than 24 acres with a view of the Flint River, this beauty is over 3,300 square feet. Call Mark Hawkins today to view this lovely home. Looking to buy, sell, or rent? Murray Company Realtors is ready to meet your real estate needs.
I'm Ray Lampe, Dr. Barbecue, and I'm here to tell you about the Big Green Egg, the ultimate cooking experience. The versatility of the Big Green Egg is unmatched. It delivers big results as a grill, a smoker, and even an outdoor oven. When the doctor cooks, I demand the best, and that's why I cook on the Big Green Egg, the ultimate cooking experience.
Visit Taylor Foster Hardware in Manchester and start enjoying the ultimate cooking experience on the Big Green Egg. Taylor Foster Hardware, Main Street in Manchester.
Welcome back to the Flint River Academy Coaches Show with head coach Josh Dare. I'm your host, David Carden. Coach, Southwest Georgia, pretty good on offense, got a couple good playmakers, got a really mobile quarterback.
Yes.
What are you seeing on tape from him?
Just, you know, they're a guy. He's a guy that they love to have the ball in his hands. He's a great decision maker. We've seen it multiple times where he's getting flushed out of the pocket, and nobody's open downfield, and he just, you know, throws it away. Make sure he doesn't do anything dumb. So he does a really good job with that, and he's really fast. He looks to get the edge, and he's somebody that we're going to have eyes on at all time. They like to run zone read with him. And he does a really good job of reading it. And he's really good, and we know that he's really good because he makes the wrong reads a good bit of times and still beats the guy to the edge. So like, sometimes it's like he just says, I'm keeping the ball this time, and it's one-on-one, and he's hard to bring down. So we got to make sure that we are not letting him get outside. We got to keep him bottled up and make sure that if he does try to get outside, that he's having to bounce everything so our flow can get there. If he turns the corner, he's tough to stop. You know, against Bethlehem, he went for probably 75 yards on a zone read, and we've seen it on multiple films of him taking off. But he's probably the key. If you stop him, you've got a chance to stop them. You know, their running back's really good too, but I feel like their quarterback's their big play guy. You know, their running back, you know, they can go 4 or 5 yards all the way down the field, so you don't want to sit there. That's the worst thing to watch from the sideline, is just watching them get 5 and 6 yards at a time. But it's also no fun watching one of their guys get loose. So we got to make sure that their quarterback doesn't get loose and basically force them to go 4 yards all the way down the field, because teams at this level, a lot of times they'll do something, they'll get a hold, they'll get a penalty to set them back behind the sticks, and they'll find a way to mess it up. So that's what, that's our game plan every week, though, is we call it bleed slowly, no big plays, and just, if a team goes 80 yards, 4 or 5 yards a pop, you just tip your hat, you get the ball, and you go try to do what they did. So.
Yeah, well, that's hard to do at any level, especially with a bunch of kids out there.
That's
basically.
exactly right. That's exactly right. And we've been really happy with our defense. Our defense has given up 15 points in the last two weeks, and that's playing Gatewood and Bethlehem.
Right.
So
well, they pitched the shutout at Bethlehem.
Exactly. So we've made a couple changes there, and we've got some guys moving downhill a lot more, and they're really finding their roles on defense, and they're we're excited about our defense, and we're game planning for Southwest Georgia, and we're going to continue letting our linebackers just run and go and have fun and play downhill and get in gaps, and we're really forcing teams to. The blocking scheme changes with what we're running. We've got 4 guys in the middle playing games, going in and going out, and you don't know which way they're going, and they've only got 3 right there to block them, so. In order to really block them, they're going to have to commit from the outside. And if they commit from those tackles and tight ends coming down, well, now we've got guys out there reading them, stepping down with them, and clogging it up. So we're loving the D. We're loving the defense. They are moving around, flying around. We got guys all over the field all game, and just really happy with them.
That's something y'all be counting on this week is the defense making some plays for y'all, maybe creating a turnover or something?
I mean, that's what we count on every week. We're going to just be pretty basic offensively. We're going to run our stuff and hopefully go put some points on the board. But we got to rely on not letting teams outscore us. If we've been in every game. We've been in every game we've played this year, and it has a lot to do with how good our defense has played. We haven't done a great job of putting up a ton of points. But at the same time, we don't want to. We also haven't given up points offensively. We haven't had the pick sixes and the fumbles and all of that. So we've been pretty conservative when it comes to offense, and we're going to stay that way. We don't want to lose the game on the offensive side with as good as our defense has been playing. So yeah, we're definitely stay conservative. Try to hit some big plays, but not do anything crazy. So
on the offensive side of the ball, you said y'all going to keep it pretty basic, pretty regular, what we've seen from y'all all year.
Yeah.
So nothing new, no new wrinkles.
Well, we've got so many sets in right now that's our wrinkle. We'll try to outset them. We'll try to find a set that we like. If they if they want to spread out with us, then we'll spread out and go. We haven't had to throw the ball. We didn't have to throw the ball last week. We didn't throw the ball much against Gatewood with Parker out. So this is going to be a week where hopefully we'll get back to what we saw a little early on, where if they don't spread out with us, we'll hit them with our quick passing game. And if they do spread out with us, then we'll try to hit them up the middle and run a lot of zone read at them and make those tackles, make a decision. They're bigger guys, so once they commit, it's going to be hard for them to stop and change directions and try to tackle Parker in open space. So that's probably what we'll.
Y'all have any counters in to get them flowing one way and then bring it back to the other side of the field?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We run quarterback counter quite a bit. We run counter off a jet, and those are things we'll just stick with. Because with jet, any team that runs jet, you run it early and you run it often because you want to see what the defense is going to do. Once you hit jet a couple times, now the defense starts flowing. And when they start flowing, that's when your counter opens up. So the counters don't really open up until you start hitting jet. So we'll run jet early and get it in James's hand, and hopefully he'll get the edge and get some yardage early. But even if he doesn't get a ton of yardage early, we still see how they rotate in the secondary, and then we can make decisions based off that.
So that's just basically just kind of get out there and see what happens.
It is. A lot of times it really is. You have a game plan, but it's the real world. In practice the game plan looks great, but then you get out there against guys running around, making plays, getting off blocks, and next thing that game plan might get thrown out the window in the first quarter, and then we got to find something we like and stick with it. So.
Southwest Georgia has a pretty talented player. He plays linebacker and running back for him, Steven Jackson.
Yeah.
What do y'all see from him on both sides of the ball?
Oh, well, he flows well, and he's a guy that we're definitely going to focus on. as a linebacker, picking him up when we're running our jet, because he does run well, and he's a guy that he can destroy jet if you don't seal the edge and pick up the inside linebacker. Running the football, man, he's probably one of the toughest runners that we've faced all year. He's just so strong. A lot of times the first guy can't bring him down by himself. It's got to be a week like we had last week or 2 weeks ago where we have to tackle low. If we go tackle him up around the shoulder pads, we're not bringing him down. There was a play where they're playing Brookwood, and they're in double tights eye, and they're just turning around and they hand it to him on just a basic lead play, and he just disappears. He's just inside, and then all of a sudden he just breaks loose because there were a bunch of guys in there just trying to reach and pull him down. I mean, you got to hit him, and you got to hit him low. So that's definitely something we'll talk a lot about this week with bringing him down. So
Maybe a little extra work on the tackling then.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So.
They got a big wide receiver down there for Southwest Georgia too.
Yep.
Makes some big plays for him.
Yep.
And I think you said he runs the jets for them.
Yeah, we've seen him run jet. I think it's number one, and he'll run jet. And we saw him score against FPCA off of a jet, and they've actually got a couple wide receivers, and they like to throw the ball deep. Watching them on film and watching us is very similar. They run the 3-4, and we run the 3-4. And then they like to run their zone read. They like to run jet. They like to run the football. And then they like to bomb it deep when you start bringing too many guys into the box. So that's definitely something that we've noticed, and something we'll have to talk to our secondary guys about is just, don't give up the big play. And quarterback throws it really good. He throws it to where only his guy can get it. We haven't seen him throw a lot of interceptions. He throws it, and he's got a great arm, and he chunks it and tells his guy to go get it. And if his guy doesn't go get it, he just makes sure the safety in the corners can't get there to get it. So definitely, they're a solid team. They're a solid team, and like I said earlier, we have to control their quarterback, passing and running. So if we can do that, I like our chances. If he gets loose and starts throwing it well, it's going to be a long night. So.
Well, you were speaking. He only has 3 interceptions on 83 pass attempts.
Right. I mean, he's really smart with the ball.
Yeah, and he's only a 50% passer, but I imagine a lot of that comes from, you were saying he makes good decisions and just throws it away when he has
That's
to.
exactly right. That's exactly right. And he might only be 50%, but those 50% when he hits it, it's big plays because they like to bomb it. They're not big into just throwing a little quick passing. They have so much confidence in their running game. We've seen twice on film now. It's been 4th and 5, and they've run right up the middle with their running back. They have a lot of faith in their line. They have a lot of faith in their running back, and that's scary. When you're sitting there as a coach watching film, and it's 4th and 5, and they're just turning around handing it to a guy because they think they can get 5 yards anytime they want to.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, man, you gotta buckle up and be ready to play these guys because they're coming to hit you.
Well, the running back's averaging almost 6 yards a carry. So
right. Yep.
They've got to be confident when he's doing that.
Absolutely. He runs it well. They block, they run, and they're a solid team. They got a great coach down there, and we played them last year. Last year was a great game. We went down there. We were leading in the 4th quarter, and it was 4th and long, and we got a pass interference call on a 4th and long play, which kept their drive alive. If not, they threw an incompletion. Then they called pass interference on another guy who the ball wasn't going to. And I don't know, it was one of those, we watched film on it 100 times and we just didn't agree with it a ton. But, it's part of it. You go on the road, you don't get calls, And we preach to our guys about that all the time, But then they got that call, but they still marched down and scored, took the lead. And we had to come out, and we came out throwing it, went 3 and out, and they got the ball back and went back and scored. So they ended up winning by 2 possessions, but with 4 minutes to go, we had the lead. It was just one of those things where it ended up actually the last score we let them in. It was like 1st and goal from the 9 with very little time on the clock, so we just let them score.
Where y'all get the ball back.
Where we could get the ball back and hopefully go, and I think they won by 8. We were hoping to go score and go for 2.
Yeah.
But just weren't able to do it. So.
We'll be back with more of head coach Josh Deere right after this.
I'm Ray Lampe, Dr. Barbecue, and I'm here to tell you about the Big Green Egg, the ultimate cooking experience. The versatility of the Big Green Egg is unmatched. It delivers big results as a grill, a smoker, and even an outdoor oven. When the doctor cooks, I demand the best, and that's why I cook on the Big Green Egg, the ultimate cooking experience.
Visit Taylor Foster Hardware in Manchester and start enjoying the ultimate cooking experience on the Big Green Egg. Taylor Foster Hardware, Main Street in Manchester.
Murray Company Realtors in Griffin offer a wonderful riverfront family home. This two-story Victorian-style home located off Highway 18 along the Flint River features 3 bedrooms with 2 full and 1 half bath, open living room, and a full finished basement. Situated on more than 24 acres with a view of the Flint River, this beauty is over 3,300 square feet. Call Mark Hawkins today to view this lovely home. Looking to buy, sell, or rent? Murray Company Realtors is ready to meet your real estate needs.
Welcome back to the Flint River Coaches Show with head coach Josh Deere. I'm your host, David Carden. Coach, this is y'all's last home game of the year, which means it's senior night.
Yep.
Big night for the kids. Unfortunately, you only got 2 seniors this year,
Right.
which is good for y'all moving down the road.
Right.
But special night for Greg Chambers and Cullen Evans.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And, it's everybody talks, well, you only have 2 seniors. You're not losing much next year, but we're losing a ton. We're losing a big playmaker outside. He's already scored 4 touchdowns for us.
Yeah.
And then we're losing Greg, who is he is starting to get it. We talked about it last week. It's starting to click for him. He's playing tight end for us, and we're playing with a lot more tight end in the game. Get some extra meat inside. And he's starting to get the blocking scheme down and starting to make some great blocks for us. And you're starting to see it with our running backs are now starting to get loose a little bit more. And, so we're only losing 2, but we're losing 2 really good ones.
We spoke about Southwest Georgia's offense and defense. What do you see from their special teams on?
Well, they like to do the rugby punt, okay? And you see it in college. And in college, the rugby punter, he's 15 yards deep.
And just kind of roll them out to the
roll
one
them
side.
out and you kick it. Well, they got their rugby punter at 10 yards deep. So we really think that we can go get one because he catches it and he turns sideways and goes and punts. And we've seen on film they've already had a couple, or they've had one blocked and shanked one because the guy was about to be there. So, and the guy that was there pressuring the punter was a bigger guy. So we feel like we can put one of our speedy guys out there, come hot off the edge and really get to a couple this week. So, but the key is you got to make them pump first.
Right,
so
yeah.
that's the thing. Putting in a bunch of pump blocks is great, but if they ain't punting, they're useless. So we got to be great defensively, and if they do go to punt it, you can expect us to go try to get one this week.
Well, that's good. That's good. They have any good return men or anything that y'all are worried about?
With our punting scheme, we don't really get too worried about that because we've done a great job covering punts with the spread. You get so much pressure downfield so quick that it's hard to return a punt. And we would love for a guy to catch it and try to make a move. That's when they muff it and you get to fall on it and good things happen.
Yeah.
Really, Gatewood was the only team that we've had a tough time stopping in the return game. So no, we feel confident in our return game, and James punts it pretty high. He doesn't punt it real far, but a lot of times those far punts are the ones that get returned.
It outkicks the coverage.
Right. So we got our coverage and his leg pretty much in sync. So we feel pretty confident with that. So.
Well, that's good. Well, Coach, seems like you got it pretty well planned out heading into this week then.
Well, yeah, it all looks good on paper. So now we got to go execute it. We got to coach him up this week and make sure we've got everything covered. And you win games Monday through Thursday. Very few games do you win on Friday night. So we got to make sure that we go prepare and have these kids ready for anything that they can throw at us. And just make sure they understand how important it is now, how important these next 3 games are. We're past the bye week, so the bye week should give these guys some more energy. They had the time off, and that kind of helps this time of year. And now they should come out fired up, ready to go. It's the home stretch. We got three games, and we're in the playoffs. So every game from here on out is going to be fun and intense. And we just got to make sure, as a coaching staff, that our kids show up and they're ready to play. That's up to us. So.
Well, I think I've done a great job of that this year, keeping them in the games, keeping them focused, and they don't give up on anything out there.
Well, we've had a lot of player-led practices. Not that they're in charge, but they are definitely motivating each other. Very rarely do we even have to get onto them because they get onto each other, and that's something you do want to see. You want to see guys stepping up. And they get mad at each other when somebody calls them out, but that's fine. It's football. You're supposed to do that. You got to have guys pushing you. Your coaches can only get so much out of you. Where your peers, man, they can get a bunch more out of you if you're pushing each other and handling it the right way, which they have been. It's not like we're having fights out there, but they've been pushing each other and handling it the right way, and now we're starting to see that improvement. And I can't talk enough about our young guys. Our young guys, man, they are improving every week, and it's only going to make us better this year and for the future. They are getting after it. There's been probably 5 or 6 practices in the last 2 or 3 weeks where I look over there and I see young guys crying because they're getting beat up, but they're staying on the field. It's not like they're crying and running off the field. I mean, they're over there teary-eyed because they just hit Brett 3 times in a row, and the next thing you know, they're right there ready for the 4th time. So if we make a big run late in the playoffs, those are the guys that we really need to thank, because they're kicking our butt during practice, and it's they have a hard time stopping us and bringing some of these older guys down, but man, they're making us work, and it's fun to see. So.
Well, and that, like you said, that's that teamwork, and that's what makes you better.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Well, Coach, I appreciate you joining us this week, and good luck against Southwest Georgia.
Thank you.
The Wildcats will be at home this week at the Den, Friday night, 7:30, taking on Southwest Georgia Academy. If you can't make it out to the game, you can listen to the game live on Legends 1370. Thank you for joining us, and please come back next week.
Thank you for watching the Wildcats Football Coaches Show. Join Coach Dare and David Carden next week as they continue to review and preview all the Wildcats football games right here on Mountain Vision.
Let's go!
This is Mountain Vision.